Giving players an element of choice is something that many games allow for. Many, but not all. This is because developers want us to experience the narrative that they've carefully crafted for us. However, there are times that us gamers are forced to commit actions so horrific that we could only wish there was an alternative option to get out of these situations. Spoiler warnings are in effect because I'm Cypher What Culture and these are 9 terrible things recent video games made us do. Number 9. Incinerate the Doctor, Little Nightmares 2. As its name suggests, the world of Little Nightmares is far from pleasant. Least appealing of all are the cast of grotesque monstrosities who you'll be spending your time hiding and fleeing from in between solving puzzles. One of these beings, who tiny protagonists Mono and Six face in the sequel, is a terrifying doctor who runs a hellish hospital. Aside from his attempts to capture us, our first clue that this character is bad news is the mangled results of his medical experiments that populate the creepy facility. Like the many other boss encounters in the game, this nefarious medical professional also features in his own chase sequence. However, instead of simply escaping his clutches, our protagonists have a very different idea. During the frantic chase, Mono and Six eventually lure their pursuer back to the incinerator room, which lies between them and their freedom. Using the doctor's size against him, Mono traps him inside the furnace to prevent him from chasing them further. This is not enough, however. To progress further, you must now incinerate the doctor in his own furnace, his anguished cries underscoring the severity of your actions. Even he didn't deserve that death. Number 8. Beat up Thomas Downs, Red Dead Redemption 2. Throughout the bulk of Rockstar's epic masterpiece Red Dead Redemption 2, we're given the opportunity to decide if grizzled cowboy Arthur Morgan can redeem his villainous past with valiant actions, or if he remains a cruel man to the end. Most of these choices boil down to helping Arthur's friends or choosing whether to kill some foes, but one action we have no say in is assaulting a man named Thomas Downs near the start of the game. At this point, Arthur is still a no-nonsense tough guy who's willing to resort to violence at every turn. This is exactly what happens when he's requested to collect a debt from the rancher. There are a lot of vile characters in the world of Red Dead, but Downs isn't one of them. He's a good man who's fallen upon tough times, and our job is to beat him to a pulp, which leads to his death soon after. In a twist of irony, it's this interaction which results in Arthur contracting tuberculosis. Being the turning point in Arthur's story, there's no way of getting out of this task either. Delay the mission too long and the game will simply force you to do it. Number 7. Choosing Who Suffocates, the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me. Much like developer Supermassive Games' other horror outings, the Dark Pictures anthology is full of numerous tough decisions that can result in potentially fatal consequences. Most recent entry, The Devil in Me, is no exception to this tenet of gameplay and poses some of the cruelest choices in the series to date. Taking inspiration from the chilling real-life tale of 19th century serial killer H.H. Holmes' notorious murder castle, the game sees a production crew find themselves trapped in a faithful reconstruction of the macabre murder hotel, complete with its own shifting walls, trapdoors, and elaborate death traps. At one point during the hellish ordeal, presenter Kate and timid intern Erin are locked in airtight suffocation chambers. Outside, a switch will give only one of these rooms air, with players now forced to decide which one of these characters they want to kill and which one they want to save. What makes this choice that extra bit more fiendish though is that there's a sneaky trick at play here too. Eagle-eyed players may be able to spot that there's a leak in one of the windows that will give you time to save both. Miss this though and you may feel worse about your choice. Number 6. Squash a Fetus, Scorn. From the moment the unnamed protagonist awakens in the fleshy alien world of Scorn, it's evident that everything here is just horrific. Narrow corridors covered in viscera feel like the insides of a great beast. Each tool and weapon you'll acquire during your journey looks like it's made of writhing flesh, and then there's whatever that mangled creature is you grab from an egg. Given that being gross is Scorn's whole aesthetic, it shouldn't come as a surprise that this game asks you to do some disgusting things throughout its brief runtime. One of the most unpleasant tasks comes in the 5th and final act, in which we're required to collect blood containers to activate a console. To fill these containers with blood, however, we're going to have to collect what can only be described as an alien fetus and put it in a device that is specifically designed to squeeze every last drop of blood out of it. The concept of juicing a baby, even if it is some kind of Lovecraftian monstrosity, is unpleasant enough in itself. However, Scorn ensures that we endure through every squelchy second of this mechanical procedure through excellently disgusting sound design. Number 5. The Promise, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the ensemble intergalactic superheroes with larger-than-life personalities, are best known for their light-hearted and comical adventures. This was true in their comic book and blockbuster outings, and it was also the case in their very own video game. Taking control of Peter Quill, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun-filled action-adventure that places you in the centre of one of the team's escapades. However, despite the quippy dialogue and humorous interactions, this game takes an unexpectedly dark turn. After the team are captured by the Church of Truth, they're sent into their own dream world. For Peter, this is being reunited with his mother. As the touching sequence goes on, however, a black substance gradually begins to cover the screen until everything goes black and the credits roll. The only way to break free from this fantasy is to do the unthinkable and have Peter kill his own mother. Manually breaking free from her loving embrace is already difficult enough, but things only get much worse from here. Drawing your weapon, you'll now be prompted to shoot her multiple times, all while she begs for her life and tells her son that she loves him. It's brutal. Number 4. Desecrating your sister's corpse. Martha is dead. Set in the picturesque Italian countryside during World War II, unflinching psychological horror Martha is Dead sees Julia discover the bloated corpse of her titular twin sister in the lake near her family's home. But when their grief-stricken mother arrives at the scene and mistakes Julia for her sister, the surviving sibling inadvertently takes on Martha's identity. What follows is a twisted exploration of Julia's unravelling mental stability as she becomes haunted by her inescapable trauma and grief over what's happened, as she's forced to live with the aftermath of her decision. This game pulls absolutely no punches when it comes to depicting its hardest hitting themes. The title even quite rightfully begins with a severe content warning. Those familiar with the game will already be aware of a sickening dream sequence in which Julia cuts off her dead sister's face, but things get much worse. Late in the game, when Julia suspects that Martha may have been pregnant when she died, she takes it upon herself to discover the truth. She breaks into the family crypt and, using a pair of scissors, cuts open Martha's womb to find a small fetus inside. If you're playing on PlayStation, however, this sequence, alongside others, is not interactive. But regardless of where you play it, it is disgusting. Number 3. Killing Dogs. The Last of Us Part 2. The post-apocalyptic world of The Last of Us has never shied away from exploring the brutality of violence. This was especially the case during Part 2, in which these themes tied directly into the gameplay. Violence is something that isn't taken lightly in this game. Even in typical combat encounters, every blow and gunshot is felt with visceral bluntness strong enough to make those with the strongest stomachs wince. Enemies will cry in pain and grasp in desperation during their dying moments, and it's all pretty horrible. Even more upsetting is when dogs are included in encounters. Able to use their keen sense of smell to lead enemies to your location. Eliminating these canines is necessary if you don't want your cover to be blown. Hearing the animals' cries of distress and agony when doing so, though, is one of the harshest reminders that violence should never be the answer. Though it's possible to get by without killing most of these dogs, Ellie is forced to euthanize Abby's dog when the animal attacks her. It's only when we play fetch with that dog later during a flashback that we realise the full extent of how monstrous we were. Number 2. Dismembering Cutie. It Takes Two. When feuding couple Cody and May are magically turned into their child's toys, they must work together to overcome a variety of imaginative obstacles to find a way to return to their own bodies whilst mending their fractured relationship in the process. Despite presenting us with the somber reality of divorce right at the start, the collection of environments you and your co-op partner will be traversing are full of vibrant colour and a playful sense of humour. Coming from the developers behind Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and A Way Out, however, there was bound to be some emotionally devastating moments. Here, players were expected to make the couple's child cry by killing their favourite toy, an adorable stuffed elephant named Cutie. Since it was their daughter's tears that got them into this situation, they believe that making her cry again will solve the problem. What ensues is a relentless pursuit of the fleeing stuffed toy who pleads with you that they don't want to die. When the murderous couple finally trap Cutie, players will take absolutely no pleasure in dismembering the innocent animal's leg and ear before throwing them from a ledge. It doesn't matter if it's a stuffed animal, we'll never forgive ourselves for this one. Sorry, Cutie. And number 1, killing a major character. A Plague Tale: Requiem. Taking place 6 months after the first game, Requiem sees siblings Amicia and Hugo, having escaped their home, travel to the lush lands of Provence in hopes of finding a cure to the youngster's affliction. However, tragedy is never far behind this pair, and they soon find themselves plunged into another emotionally devastating adventure where they uncover more secrets about this strange illness. After spending 2 entire games with this dedicated duo and going through their heart-wrenching journey alongside them, we're immensely invested in saving Hugo from the disease that's slowly consuming him. But this is a plague's tale, and nothing pleasant is ever allowed to happen. Towards the end of the pair's journey, Hugo, who believes his sister to be dead, allows himself to be taken over by the sickness. Amicia does everything she can to reach him, but there's nothing she can do for him. The only way to prevent the rat plague from spreading is to kill Hugo ourselves. It's at this point we must aim Amicia's slingshot to deliver the killing blow, cutting the screen to black. There's no way to get out of sealing Hugo's fate either. Wait too long and your companion will simply kill him instead. Well, now I am severely bummed out. And that's the list. Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments below. Which of these terrible things was the worst to you? And of course, let us know of others that we didn't include. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Cheer yourself up by watching one of our other videos or visiting whatculture.com, where there's more content every day. I've been Cy for What Culture, and have a good week.